I personally have a goal to eventually get to an AI business that generates me $1 million a year. And I'm inviting 10 business owners this May that believe in that goal and actually want AI to do 80% of the work in their business and to eventually build up a business that'll make them $1 million a year. Now, in order to do that, there's going to be 4 phases I'm going to be focusing on, and we're also going to be focusing on these 4 phases in the community. So let's say our goal is right over here, which is to have AI handle 80% of the work and for us to make $1 million a year and have that run as a one-person AI business. If you run a team, it's fine. Mainly the goal here is you have AI employees doing majority of the work for you. So in order to do that, we're going to follow a flywheel, because in order to build up revenue in your business, it's not a one-time action and then you just start making money. Using AI in your business is going to be a system that you need to continuously improve and build on. So this is why I like the flywheel concept. So the first step, no matter what, when you want to build AI agents or AI employees in your business, is first you need to map out your business. So that's step number 1, is map out your business. Now, the way I'm going to map out my business is I'm going to first check my business model, or like we're going to do our business model, which the business model is understanding what do you do for marketing, what do you do for sales, and what do you do for value delivery. And then from those 3 phases, or those 3 big systems in your business, which can be named as lead generation, sales, and delivery or fulfillment, from those 3 areas, you can identify how can you implement AI. Okay, that's going to be the most important thing. And the way I'm going to do that is we're going to use a business X-ray, which we're going to get a clear picture of your business. So business X-ray is going to give us a clear picture of our business model. And we're also going to understand the workflows and end-to-end pipelines. End-to-end pipelines. Now, what a workflow is something that you do to get a specific task done. And then an end-to-end pipeline is a series of workflows that chain together that create a big system. So let's say for marketing, creating a piece of content, or like, let's say a social media post, is a workflow. But an end-to-end pipeline is coming up with the ideas, drafting the hooks, the titles, the content pieces, reviewing it, and then publishing it. That's an end-to-end pipeline. So first thing is we need to map out our business. We need to understand what is our business model, how does it operate, do you use sales calls, do you use landing pages, how do you sell, etc., and so on. When you have clarity on that, which we're going to do using the business X-ray, you're going to understand how the workflows work and end-to-end pipelines. Now, once we have this, the next step is we need to build out the AI SOPs. So, because we need to treat AI like an employee. If we treat AI like a chatbot, well, it's not going to be that helpful for us in our business, right? So we need to build AI to act like an employee. So the way we do that is we're going to build something called skills. Now, if you're unfamiliar with skills, I do have videos on my channel. You can check that out. Plenty of videos on skills. But skills is basically, if you treat it like so, it's kind of like an SOP, or like a packaged program that teaches Claude or that teaches AI how to do a specific task in a predictable way. Now, this is very important because when you have skills, it's what creates predictability in your business. And when you can have AI do predictable work, that's when you start making money. Because if you have AI create unpredictable work, then you're just going to be sitting there adjusting it and changing it all the time, when you could just do it yourself. What's the point of AI? So predictable work is a key thing in order to get AI to do work in our business. And the way we do that is we use skills. Now, skills alone are great. A skill might do one specific workflow, but then we also need multiple skills that chain together that create that end-to-end pipeline. So this is what I call skill systems. Now, a skill system is a series of skills that connect and chain together that then allow AI to run a full end-to-end pipeline in your business. Let's say marketing, right? You'd have skills, multiple skills to do marketing. Let's say you have skills to write a hook, skills to write the title, skills to write the content pieces, skills to create graphics, skills to create CTAs, skills on how to publish content. All these skills exist that teaches Claude how to do something. Think of it like giving a playbook to a virtual assistant. Instead of a human, it's AI, and it's able to do everything end to end. So that's the goal with the build. So that's 2. Now, once you have a good infrastructure of skills that exist and skill systems that work, now you can finally get AI to run autonomously or automatic or automation. So that's where we get into phase 3, which is run, or like kind of like automate. So now we can have AI interact with your business and automatically do work without you needing to tell it what to do, okay? Because the skills exist. So it can work on triggers. So let's say it could work on triggers. Let's say a schedule and so on, maybe like a webhook. So let's say as an example, every time you post a YouTube video, you want AI to automatically, a webhook get triggers or a trigger gets triggered, and then that automatically runs a workflow where AI will automatically transform that YouTube video into content pieces that will be posted for you on social media on your behalf. And it does it in a way where it actually generates results. And the only way it does that is because it has a skill system behind it. So this could be anything. This could be like, let's say you just hopped off a sale, okay? You have a skill system that whenever you hop off of a sales call, it extracts a transcript, extracts all the insights, and then shares that with the people that enter the call, or like the were within the call, and then creates like a proposal or whatever deliverables you want to create after. So this is the third step, is automate. And this is very important to follow these 3 steps, because when we map stuff, we get clarity on how our business works. Then we get clarity on how we could create skills that will actually run part of our business. And then when we have solid skills, then we can run and automate and have AI as an employee. Okay, you cannot skip these steps. If you skip it, then you're not gonna succeed. Now, finally, once you have agents or like AI employees that work and you have battle tested them, their production grade level, now you can monetize. Now you can deploy and monetize your AI agents. Now, because you have infrastructure and you've basically eaten up the complexity, so you've basically battle tested everything with AI. You know how to make it do the specific task perfectly, not perfectly, but maybe really high level that taken you a large amount of time, right? Because the way to get AI to work is that it requires more time and complexity to be eaten. So you can save someone else from needing to build employees. All those months you spend tweaking their system, they don't need to do that. And you then pretty much rent access to your AI employees or your infrastructure, and you can make money on that on a subscription basis. And the reason why is because you've eaten up complexity, and people are willing to pay for that to get a, say, a subsidized version of labor in their business that does it in a high level. Instead of hiring humans, they can hire your AI employees. So now you can hire that on a subscription basis. And because you can pretty much rent yourself on a subscription basis, and it's very sticky, that is what allows us to get to that $1 million a year business with a 1-person business. Okay, so then now you can see how this can scale really quickly if you do these 4 steps correctly. Now, the way we're going to together in the community is, number 1 is, I'm going to give you resources to map out your business. So I have this skill called the Business X-ray. You do not need to map out your business. All you have to do is plug in the skill to AI or Claude. Claude will interview you, and it then will create these deliverables. They'll give you clarity on your business. It'll give you a visual on the business map or the bow tie funnel. It'll give you like visuals on process swim lanes, so you can see how things work in your business. And then it'll give you a scorecard on how leverage your business is via digital assets. Now, digital assets are very important because AI works in digital assets. I'll go over that in a second. And then it will give you a roadmap exactly on what to build with AI. So you'll not be in the dark. You'll know exactly how your business works, and know exactly how to get AI to work in your business, and how to build those AI employees that'll generate you revenue in the long run. So how does this work? So when you do the Business X-ray, what you'll see is you'll get a swim lane diagram. Okay, on the swim lane diagram, you'll be able to see what are the things that you need to do, what are the things that AI does, and what are the things that an asset will take over in terms of a end-to-end pipeline. So let's say an example here is marketing, right? Your job here, let's say this is your lane, your job is to come up with an idea. You have an idea of a content, and because you're in charge of creativity, you probably have a better taste of your audience, right? So you have that idea, and you probably capture it with AI. AI will take that idea, will capture it, save it in a vault for you, or pretty much maybe extrapolate it, make it more clearer, maybe extract more ideas from it. Basically, you'll capture that and save that for you. So an asset of that would be an idea vault. So you can have an idea vault that AI could always reference to whenever it needs ideas. So now it can create content on the back end for you. Okay, then there's research. So let's say you have an idea capture, you can research that idea, and then you have sources that AI could pick up. So let's say you have a content pieces that you like, you can have sources on that. Okay, then let's say you want AI to write content for you. It will have a skill that knows how to write in your voice and will have access to your voice DNA, or like the way you write. Okay. Let's say you want to turn a form piece of content into short form piece of content. You have a skill that turns that and would have library of past content piece, so it knows how to do it. And then publishing skill, it would have access to your channels. So if you notice on the AI lane, all of the stuff, all the things that require AI to do, let's say capture, research, voice, write it in your voice, distributing the content, breaking up into smaller pieces, and publishing, these are all skills. Okay, so to get AI to do work, we need to do skills. So this is what would be called a skill system. And skill systems work based on having access to assets as well. Okay, so these are very important concepts. Because if you just have a skill and you don't have assets, or like an end outcome of what looks good, which is what I call digital asset, then AI will do like very horrible output. It will vary way too much and won't create predictable output. So when you create skills, you want to make sure you find the asset, which is the ideal end outcome or the goal of what you want the output of the AI to have. And then you create a skill that references that and is able to create predictable output. And that is why now AI would be able to do this specific pipeline or like end-to-end pipeline in a good way where you don't need to handhold it. Maybe you might come in, give it the idea, and at the end you might approve it, review it, and ship it. So that should be the idea. So the concept here, let me make this clear over here, is ideally we're doing 20% of the work, right? So the idea in approving and shipping. So here's how this would look like. So let's say this is you, first 10% is you coming with the idea. So it's creating the plan, coming up with the vision, and so on. The next 80% of the execution, this is what I call execution, is what AI does, right? And then the last 10% is when you come into the picture and you basically approve it and review it, okay? There are some cases where you can have AI do 100%, but for this case, let's say marketing, you always want to have like someone overseeing what's going on because AI isn't 100% perfect. We might get to a point where AI can do 100% of that. But right now, your job as a chief leverage officer, which is what you're going to be if you join the community, is to focus on the judgment, the creativity, and then the approval and reviewing, and have AI do the execution. You do not need to do the execution anymore. All right, so how does that look like? So skill systems look like so. So the way you'd build a skill is you just need to have a clear picture of how it works. Okay, so I'm going to be giving you the plugins or the tools or pretty much the infrastructure required for you to create this skill system. So you do not need to know how to, it's not technical. You just need to speak to Claude or speak to AI, and AI will create skill systems for you. Okay, so if you can speak plain English in clear language, then you can build skill systems. So you can always say, hey, build a skill that writes follow-ups in my voice, as an example. Okay, now AI will take that, you give it the assets, and then AI will build a skill system. So it'll create the scaffolding, which is how the AI will interact with this. It will test it, and it will package it all for you. Okay, so that's a skill system. And then a skill system will then be a series of skills that connect and link to each other that allows AI to then run multiple pipelines. So you can have skill systems for marketing, you have skill systems for sales, you can have skill systems for research, skill systems for value delivery, customer questions, everything can be created. You can have skills for everything. All you have to do is speak it in plain English and Claude will build it. And then obviously skills don't come out perfect the first time. You need to iterate and build it over time. Pretty much eat the complexity so AI can do the work better over time. But then after that, you get a skill. So one skill does one job. Together they run the business, and that's the goal over here. We want to have skill systems doing work for us. Again, so how does the skill system work? So let's say you have a new article published. Okay, this is an automation as an example. You just publish a Substack article. Let's say once that's published, AI will run this pipeline. It will pull the insights, and then it will maybe create a carousel. It will build the slides. Maybe you want to create a thread or write a thread. Maybe you wanted to create some quote posts, or for content to create some quote posts. And then it will schedule everything for you on the platforms for you, and then let you know. And then you can approve, review it, and then you live on content. So this is an example of a skill system that you could run. Now, the way that this works, just how I explained it is, that's how step 3 is turning a system into an AI employee. So you have the skill system ready, which is a package skill, the system, which looks like so. Now you just have it run based on a webhook or a schedule. So you can have it run every day at 9 a.m. as an example, or you can have it run when, let's say, a YouTube video is published, or Substack article is published, or you hop off of a sales call, or something happens in your business, a trigger, and then it runs this and does that work. So instead of you, like, let's say, telling a human employee, hey, do this, or sending a Slack message for someone to do it, it does it automatically. Okay, so that's how we get a 24/7 AI employee. Okay, so that's step 3. Now, step 4 is once you battle test your AI employees, you've gone through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of feedback, and you've built up a robust infrastructure that is production grade level, that really creates genuine value in your business and creates revenue. Then now you can actually turn things a dial and make a lot of money with it. So this is where you can start introducing plugins. So think of plugin kind of like you have this infrastructure, like a database where your AI employees have access to these skill systems, and then you can have people pretty much literally plug into your infrastructure and pretty much rent it on a subscription. Okay. Now the cool thing about this is super leveraged. This is the most leveraged thing ever, leveraged business you can have, specifically with online business, because I think this is the only way where business is going from now on, especially online. Like, no one's going to buy courses. No one's going to buy like video trainings unless you're teaching them AI. Why would they buy that when they can just have the execution done for them on their behalf? Okay, so it's the most leveraged because now you can have as many people plugged in here, and this doesn't increase your labor, right? This doesn't require more time. All you have to do, let's say there's a problem. Let's say there's a problem here. This person has a problem. You just go into the infrastructure and you fix that problem. Same thing, you fix a problem. So you do not need to focus on firefighting and fixing problems for each single person or client. Now you can have like unlimited amount of clients or people, and then you just fix the AI employees and they do delivery work for you. So now you can imagine how much money you can stack very quickly if you spend the time building out the skills, the AI employees, and battle testing the infrastructure. This is going to be like really crazy. This is going to be the future in terms of online business. So now you can have multiple plugins that you can share with other people. Now in the community, I am going to share with you the plugins that I built. I built a lot of plugins. So I will give you plugins, let's say, on how to have content created for you for like newsletters, YouTube, how to map out your business, campaign builder. So all of the plugins I'm working on, I'll share with you. Now, if you build any plugins, all the other plugins in the community, if other people want to share them, you get access to them as well. So this is going to be a community where we all build our AI infrastructure and we all support each other to get to that point where we can make $1 million a year as a one-person AI business. Okay, so this is a recap. So phase 1, we're going to do the business x-ray. We're going to diagnose what to build first, so you know exactly what to build. 2, we're going to build skill systems. We're going to build the AI employees that do the work. Number 3, we're going to then turn that into 24/7 AI employee. And then finally, we're going to build so we can deploy and monetize this into our business. And if you're interested in joining me in the community, I put some information and resources below you can check, or you can check out this QR code to join in right now. I'll see you in the inside.